SMT Nation, we back. Nation, we got the second domino to fall. It's AT&T. In terms of the Q2 earnings, we had Verizon report yesterday. It was a mixed bag, kind of like a tale of two sides because, part of their business was very strong in broadband and business wireless, but then in consumer wireless, it showed some weakness. And, so we cover everything and we see how they're doing. That was Verizon's story. AT&T really emphasizing free cash flow hit. That should send investors into a good mood. And of course, they had some good subscriber gains. But let's cover all the elements we have from the press release and the preliminary earnings in terms of the metrics with wireless and fiber and those things. So I'll be sure to give you guys the link for the CNBC article. And actually, I think it's published through Readers. I'll just link it for you. You guys can follow along to that. Also in the description, the Real SMT Buy Me a Coffee link. Show your support for your creators. Buy us a coffee. Link in the description. There's other ways to support us too. They're all down there. And if you're looking for a great deal on wireless service, our partner Mint Mobile can give it to you. mintmobile.com/sneed. Use that link in the description. Unlock savings, get their legendary customer care, and you'll be supporting the channel. Okay, so the headline here. AT&T tops free cash flow estimates on cost cuts, especially with jobs and subscriber additions. So let's start first with some of the stuff we have with relation to to consumer and business wireline, which is usually kind of what we look for. All right, now to get things started first with fiber, the fiber adoption is at a very good pace, and fiber revenues are up by 28%. So broadband revenues grew 7% with fiber subscriber growth and mix shift to fiber, right? Moving away from DSL, focusing on fiber expansion. It seems to be working for them. The fiber ARPU is up 8.2%, $66.70 ARPU. I know that's been ascending. That's been a very good strength for them. And they're looking at a $70 ARPU in the near-term future, which is very promising. AT&T fiber net additions at 251,000, even with lower move activity, which tells us, they're taking share where the product is available. And of course, the Gigapower transaction is closed, and they've got 8 new areas announced officially. Now, with respect to business wireline, it says here that they've got, I guess, some improved EBITDA comparably compared to the last quarter. 350,000 connections towards the business solution and service revenue growth of 9.1%. So there's a little bit of strength there. Now, with respect to consumer wireless, 326,000 postpaid phone net adds. Remember, Verizon was at minus 136,000 for consumer wireless. They covered up those losses with business wins. AT&T obviously doing a little bit better. Postpaid phone churn at 0.79. I think Verizon was at 0.83. So AT&T, as of right now, in the catbird seat to have the lowest in the industry churn. And I kind of predicted this. I thought if somebody was going to beat Verizon, they would have to have a phenomenal churn rate. But this tells us that customers aren't really switching, right? 0.79 is very low. 0.83 is very low from Verizon. Where does that put T-Mobile? We'll have to see their report tomorrow. But I would be shocked if they were to top 0.83 or 0.79. But I think they can get pretty close. I think they can get down under 0.9 pretty easily. 0.85 I think would be a great number for them. If they were to get to the Verizon number of 0.83, I would be kind of surprised, but that would be phenomenal to see. But again, it's they're looking at why their churn rate is low. They offer really good promotions, to existing and new customers. That seems to be working. Now, from the most important thing with respect to financials for AT&T, this is what everybody's watching. Revenues are up. Mobility service revenue grew by almost 5%. Consumer broadband grew almost 7%. Additionally, the free cash flow was a hit, $4.2 billion for the quarter, right? Which was really important. I said they had to get to $4 billion or $4.5 billion because they're tracking to $16 billion for the year, which Verizon has already tracked right around the same, 16 or 17 billion, right? And they're very comfortable where they are. And they did it off of job cuts, right? 10,000 jobs in the customer care department. They also reduced or relaxed CapEx, right, in order to get there. So AT&T has laid off thousands in order to get to this number. I think they'll continue to do that. We're expecting layoffs monthly for the rest of this year and then moving forward into 2024. But right now, the free cash flow is at $5.2 billion, projecting to hit their mark just fine from what we could tell. Investors are going to be very happy with this. So things actually look pretty good with respect to the financials hitting their mark throughout the rest of the year. You could see their consumer wireless ads a little bit down, right? And, you know, that maybe that indicates that T-Mobile is going to have a big quarter tomorrow. We know that they took an account. We know that Verizon got a VA account as well, which likely put them into, you know, the positive with their report. They also mentioned, you know, some expenditures here, and they noticed that, or they indicated $4 billion in net debt reduction, which is good. I think investors are going to like what they see here. I'm not saying that investors are going to be absolutely thrilled with the quarter. I just think they're going to look at it and say, you know, this is encouraging. I like this trend. You know, they can trust moving forward that the dividends are going to get paid. They can look at at least some upside on hitting the free cash flow for the rest of the year, and an emphasis on paying down debt, which is really the bugaboo for AT&T. So we've got some positive things on the financial side. We've got some positive things in postpaid. I've got to look at some other numbers. I'm going to look at the full-scale report shortly, but I wanted to give you guys these preliminary findings and kind of compare it to Verizon. Just at face value, AT&T has a slightly better positive outlook with respect to business operations, right? To me, they're just much more competitive in consumer wireless, and their fiber product sells at a greater scale than Verizon Fios. So they're a little bit different in that respect. And, you know, the just financially in terms of margins, AT&T still seems to be doing pretty well. Not perfect at AT&T. Obviously, those job cuts, you know, concerning. There's going to be huge, massive layoffs through the rest of this year and then moving forward next year. But, you know, they can't stand around, Pat, and let the investor grow frustrated and continue to capitulate. But it looks like this could have some positive vibes in the market. We'll see how it plays out. It's still early, 6:55 a.m. at the time of this recording on July 26th. Let's see how the market plays out. Let's see how everyone responds. But we got T-Mobile giving us a go tomorrow. I'm going to look at some prepaid numbers. I'm going to look at some details. I'll listen to the webcast, which airs in like an hour and a half, and we'll see what the big blue carrier has to say. But that's the preliminary stuff. Tell me what you guys think. You're the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard.